Within the protocol, another important thing to note is, because what we want is intake. Whether you've eaten in your house or the neighbor's house or in church, because that's a normal typical day, because that is what you took, so it affected your nutrient intake yesterday. So assuming in your house you took breakfast, you took lunch, but at 10 o'clock ulienda ukalimia mtu. When you're digging, you are offered food. That one you take record. So on that one, we will not have the ingredients because it's not you who prepared. Or assuming I visited Winnie's house, she served me tea. I'll also inform I took milk tea. That's where we now have standard recipes. We cook that tea ourselves and now get the ingredients.
The one I showed you.
The conversion factor. We have now something called conversion factors, which we shall look at much later, because that now comes in during analysis. So they need to give you anything that was ingested. Alikuwa analima akachuna mapera, that one we need. So what we normally miss out is for a child, because you know a child cannot remember. Maybe she went playing outside. They cannot remember if they ate, and or during these seasons where we have lots of fruits, most kids just eat. They can't recall. So those are the little things we miss out. But ideally, the mother should tell you anything and everything that yeye na mtoto consumed.
And in case if she skipped lunch, something like that?
Yeah, there are those, I mean, like if you looked at our data in Turkana, we only had one meal, Nangaria, and that's it. So you wouldn't force breakfast, lunch, supper. The typical situation is that I stay hungry, I only eat once a day. Or you may find the side, because if you look at this sheet, we have the side of the child and the mother. You'll find the side of the child has breakfast and maybe lunch and no supper, but the side of the mother, someone tells you they did not eat. That is what will enter. They did not eat, because that is the typical situation of the ground.
Maybe for the benefit of those who are just hearing this for the first time, what is an index child and why the mother and the child?
Okay, now with that one we are now getting to this. We are now getting to the question. Yeah.
So I think you have to regards this one.
Maybe just before we proceed, if you guys had a chance to go through it, if there's any questions on the protocol before we proceed to the actual questionnaire.
So when you visit the household, the first things you need to ask is the who you are, right? And then why we are here. And then we talk about, we are interested in about your 24-hour foods. And then asking like are you having a party like yesterday? Huh?
Actually, the procedure, we normally have that consent form. One, the initial stage in all these surveys have been, we get someone to do mobilization. And depends on your interests. One, our interest mostly in most surveys is women of reproductive age, 18 to 49. That is number one. Number two, these women should have children aged, now depends on your target again, 6 to 23 months, 6 to 59 months, you know now. So depending on which your target is, that is what will guide the mobilizer to get women with that criteria. And when they're mobilizing, they inform these women, this and that is going to happen. So once that list has been made on, say it's Kitui, we're working with 20 villages, we also need to come and do the sampling. Now those women we've selected, out of that list of say 1,000, we need only 300, and in given villages, we shall get back to again those mobilizers and the CHVs. They now go inform these mothers. These people will be visiting on day 1, 2, 3, and this is the expectation. You see, so like for Vihiga, it's been easy because these women, we've been with them from 2014. So they know, they hear 24-hour recall. In fact, you get in, they have already brought dishes on the table, they have brought water. But now Loliondo, being, or even Kitui, now it's going to take a bit of time because they have to be informed. Now we measure with water, bring your usual cup, because you know, as the mother of the house, I may be using this, my child may be using a different cup. We need all that. You bring that up. I think you saw it when we were doing it there. You bring all that so that you can run. But for a mother who's used to it, it is much easier. So yeah, the information is passed prior, and it makes it easy, even for in terms of logistics and in terms of observing the protocol within the villages. We respect the order within there. So we just can't wake up today, now we are going to Kitui. No. We will have to.
And then in case if you have a family which has some difficulty to interview with, what do? You ask the mobilizer to give you another,
Difficulty in terms of
like maybe that person has the some
Maybe religious things people can.
maybe
they
some
don't want to interview.
party last night.
now
Some
that's we
event?
have a replacement list.
Oh, you have a replacement.
Yeah,
list.
we've done, like once the sampling has been done, we have the main sample frame, we have the selected sample, and now from the main sample frame, after let's say we get to 300, from 301, those ones will be replacements, and we shall be replacing in that order. So you may go to Irene's house, you find that Irene had domestics, the husband yesterday, she's been chased away. So you have to get a replacement because we need to meet our sample size. So we simply use that as a guide to get into the next household to be able to interview.
So even if you administer the consent, the mother says, no, I don't want to be interviewed.
Today.
Not even today. She said that I just don't want to be interviewed. You just replace. You have a replacement.
We have a
list.
replacement list. Yeah.
So that sampling, that whole process of sampling, you do it after you've been given maybe the list by the CHVs, or how do you go about
So
that?
that is the mobilization part. Somebody has to be on the ground to select those households.
Oh,
Yes.
a local.
Local. And the names of the child and the mother and their contacts.
So it's just
So that
simple.
you-
Actually, it's the CHIWs. They're called community health
Volunteers.
something mobilizers. The head of volunteers. They're the ones who now, because they know the CHVs they work with. So they tell you, this village, I have a CHV who can handle that. Because again, if you we had a problem in our first survey. We went through the administrative arm. I know the administrator may not be so sure of who is existing where. And we had a bit of challenges. So the chief sent his own village men who were not familiar. Whereas the CHVs, they administer even the nets and the medicines within the ground. They are easier to work with in health-related matters. So it was a bit of a challenge and there was a bit of conflict. But henceforth, we were able to simply acknowledge the office of the chief, and then you proceed to work with the CHVs and the ministry. So it was working quite well.
Okay, maybe that is the format of Kenya. I don't know if in Orion they
Yeah,
have
that was
CHVs.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I think
You
it's
saw a CHV. Yasu mentioned there
Yeah.
was a CHV.
But only one, the lady.
So she's the one we'll use. Those are normally access points.
Yes.
You've made a
in case of
relationship.
Kitui, we use the local elders, chief elders.
Yeah.
Chief provided us some local elders we can work with, and then we gave him a paper or maybe assignment to document the household who has that age group children, and then we just selected randomly from there to choose like a 50 households, 50 target family from each sub-locations. So you can maybe that's the things you need to do first when you are there with the rosé, to sit down, and then you can ask him to take you to the each villages to identify the target families. Not necessarily 50, but then maybe you can choose like 10, 10, so that we can always communicate with those target family for data collections.
Have you ever found a situation where, according to your parameters, the number of people that you found within those parameters are less than the ones you anticipated?
Yeah, that's why I think we have the attrition in data. Sorry, the accepted minimum. Yeah, it happens. And I think we faced that challenge in Turkana, because you find that what you want, what you expect has not met. But there's the minimum required of data for it to be scientifically exactly. Yeah. So there's normally that 5% attrition that can cater for that. And again, the other percentage that, yes, this can be data that can be used to generalize this population. Yeah. Those are things now statisticians would help collect in any cartels.
Yeah, generally like a 10%. 10% is okay.
It's okay. So that one is catered for in calculating your sample, such that I've selected 300, but out of these 300, 10% of this will cater for all these, like a questionnaire that has been badly filled. Assuming you find someone has measured, even measurements really determine the data, the kind of data you have. So I just assuming it's a weird thing, but I measure tea with plasticine. So they took 2 cups of tea, which equals to 200 grams of plasticine. That's wasted data. So assuming you have like 5 or so questionnaires, that is data that you cannot analyze. Yeah. Because you cannot convert, however much you try, it will be useful. And that's why now, when we get into this, we shall look at the measuring aids and how best it is to handle it for your data to be summed.
So can we move to
Yeah.
this recording?
Any questions? Any questions? Because this is the time for getting idea on the questions. Huh?
Now,
Ah.
this is now the
John,
form.
okay?
Now
Okay.
this is the form you're supposed to administer. Okay. Yes, that is the one.
It's the same thing, yes.
Now this is the 24-hour quantitative 24-hour recall we are supposed to administer. The first thing, after doing mobilization, naming the mothers of that household, the names, we are supposed to give them codes. These codes are what to help in analysis. That's why you give those households an ID. So if I go to Winnie in the list, Winnie has an ID. That's the first thing I indicate here. And then this identification part, this one, the interview date, you have to write a numerator ID, you have to write your ID, the caregiver of that household, you have to write, and then the day of the week for recall. If it's like today is on Wednesday, you write on Wednesday, and then child name, you write the name of the child, and then this 24-hour recall, you have to collect it twice. That's why we have recall number 1 and the recall number 2. So if we have chosen Winnie, we have to recall yesterday the food Winnie ate, and then we come after 24 hours. We come and do the same recall of today.
Every
the
person.
So
Yeah, the same person.
not for what we did. Not all of it has to be 100%. Repeat is not.
But as we were
necessarily
doing
100%.
repeat of 50%.
50%.
Yes.
Wait.
Repeat of 50%.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Like I interview today, I go, I come again tomorrow.
Not
Yeah,
tomorrow.
not tomorrow.
You skip a
Today,
day.
You skip a day.
Oh, you skip a day,
Mm.
then
Yeah.
I come again.
Yeah.
Like today is on
You skip
Wednesday.
minimum a day, not
So
necessarily.
you
skip a
asked
day.
me about what I ate on Tuesday. If you are asking me today on
Yes.
Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So we're going to skip what I eat on Wednesday and then you ask me what
No,
I
if I come today, you
Uh-huh.
are supposed to recall
What
the
you ate on
yesterday.
Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if
Then I
I
go.
come on Thursday, I'm supposed to recall what you ate on Wednesday.
Oh, so I'm going to give you a recall
Like
of
a-
what I ate on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But I
Why?
can also skip a day.
You
I can
cannot-
come
Yeah,
like
you
on
can-
Saturday.
No
Okay,
problem.
tell
You can
them
come
why.
on Saturday. Yeah.
Why? Ask why.
Why?
Why?
Okay, this one you are supposed to monitor the feeding pattern of that household. Like if you go to, if I come today and I recall yesterday, I see that you have just taken 2 meals, and then I come on Thursday and I see that you have also taken 2 meals. Then I can understand this household, they take 2 meals in a day.
And then on the other hand, you may find that assuming you came yesterday and you come today, the same food that was there yesterday could be a leftover that you consume today. So it doesn't give the diversity. Or there's another why.
Yeah.
So this helps
Is another why because
analysis, doing averages. Huh?
is another why because you have schedules for food. Chapati ni Friday.
Yes.
Ama leo ni siku ya soko. Wakati wa soko tunapika hii.
But actually, that's true. Like in Vihiga on Monday is normally market day. Most households, because the 24-hour we conduct on Tuesday, Monday, like 3/4 they've eaten fish.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
So,
Monday is the day to consume fish because it's a market day, so accessibility is easier and cheaper.
So I have a question. That part where you said that I've eaten leftovers the next day. So assuming you come on
Thursday
on
to-
Wednesday and then you come on Thursday again and nimekula leftover. So that's what you're going to record, but that's not my typical way of eating because naturally I eat different meals, but that day I decided to take
But
leftover meal.
I think for most households, typically even among us here, leftover consumption is a common practice. It's a common practice.
But it means then I still put together diversity.
But notice we don't come immediately. We skip a day,
Skip
a minimum of a day.
minimum of
Because there are times you may find that, say you cross over, like what happened, Turkana, you know, it's very volatile. You find you're in that side, then the weather just shifts. So much as you promised you'll come back on Tuesday, we cannot. It may take like 3-4 days, then we come back for a repeat. I don't think that food can stay that long.
So I have one last question on the same thing. You've done the first recall today, and then when you're coming for the next one, I'm not having a typical day. Will you still administer the recall?
No,
So you won't do the second
we
one.
won't do the second one. There are two options there, because you know already we had the first sample frame of the first 24-hour recall. There are two options. We can either come back or we can replace you among those we had already done the first 24. Because we're doing a 50%, right? So we did 200 households. Then out of those 200, you need to do a repeat of 100. You, as Winnie, among the 100, did not feed well. We shall just, did not feed normal. We shall just pick a replacement from the other 100. Yeah. Because what we need is a repeat so that we have two. First recall and second recall. So
50%.
50%. Yes.
So,
Is
so that
anyone-
50% statistically has to spread. Like if you have 5 villages, you have to pick 10 in every village, so that you cannot go in one village and pick.
Though it's
All
dependent on
villages.
the size,
Yeah.
the sample size
Just to
of
spread.
the villages. Because you may find village 1 has 1,000, village 2 has 300. So you really have to spread
To spread.
for balance.
For balance,
This-
so that you
yeah.
cannot be
Is
biased.
is